Princess Alara stood at the edge of the observation deck, staring at the endless expanse of stars. The spaceship beneath her shimmered like silver under the distant suns of Zythera. This was her first time leaving Earth, and every heartbeat was a mix of fear, pride, and excitement. Humans had never been invited into the alien court of Zythera before. She knew that her people were considered small, fragile, and simple in the eyes of the galaxy. But she also knew that humans had qualities no one else had: creativity, courage, and resilience. The landing platform stretched far into the sky, made of a material that seemed to glow from within. It hummed softly as the ship's engines settled. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved gracefully around the platform, their forms unfamiliar and breathtaking. Some had long limbs that bent in ways Alara had never imagined. Others had crystalline skin that reflected the light of the suns like mirrors. Some floated without touching the ground at all. And yet, despite their strange appearances, they moved with a quiet elegance, as if the air itself obeyed their presence. When the ship doors opened, a rush of cool air swept through the chamber. Alara took a deep breath and stepped forward. She was wearing her ceremonial gown, a simple yet elegant design that Earth diplomats often wore. Her hair was tied neatly behind her head, and her posture was tall and confident. Every step she took echoed on the polished platform, and all eyes turned toward her. The council chamber was unlike anything she had ever seen. Towers of crystal rose from the floor and curved into the sky. Between them floated orbs of light, each pulsating in rhythm with some invisible heartbeat. The walls shimmered like liquid, reflecting the colors of the aliens and the princess alike. At the far end, on a raised platform, sat the council members. There were 7 of them, each a different species, each radiating authority and power. As Alara stepped into the chamber, silence fell. Every alien froze in mid-motion. A hand paused in greeting. A hovering body stopped drifting. And even the hum of the chamber seemed to fade. The princess noticed it immediately. This silence was not fear. It was astonishment. Humans were known in distant stories as fragile beings. Yet, here she was, walking unafraid into the heart of an alien empire. Alara paused, giving a polite bow. "Honored members of the Zytheran Council," she said, her voice steady and clear. "I am Princess Alara of Earth. I come as a representative of my people. In friendship and in respect, I hope we can learn from each other." The council did not respond immediately. Instead, their many eyes, some glowing, some dark, some like polished gems, studied her closely. A subtle tension filled the air. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, often dismissed as primitive. Now, a human was standing before them, calm, confident, and unafraid. Finally, the eldest member, a being named Zyphor, who had scales that shimmered like liquid silver, spoke. His voice was deep, resonating through the chamber like a soft drum. "Princess Alara," he said slowly, "we have observed your species from afar. Few have dared to approach us, and fewer still with such composure. You walk among us as though you belong." Alara inclined her head. "I believe that all beings, no matter how different, have something to teach and something to learn. That is why I am here." Another council member, a creature with translucent wings that sparkled like prisms, leaned forward. "Your species is said to be fragile," it said, its voice musical yet sharp. "Yet you move with courage. Are humans truly so resilient?" Alara smiled softly. "We are. We may be small, but we are determined. We may lack some powers you have, but we have our minds, our hearts, and our ability to work together." She paused, noticing a slight shift among the council members, a flicker of respect passing through their expressions. And sometimes, that is enough to change the course of events. The chamber remained quiet, but the silence now felt different. It was no longer just astonishment. It was curiosity. The aliens began whispering among themselves in low tones, discussing the human princess who dared to enter their court. A younger council member, whose body resembled liquid light, floated closer to Alara. "You speak boldly for one so small," it said. "Do you truly understand the ways of our court? The tests, the challenges, the traditions?" Elara nodded. "I have studied your customs and your history. I may not know everything, but I am willing to learn. I hope to show that humans can stand as equals, not just in words, but in actions." Zyphor regarded her silently for a long moment. Then he nodded once. "Very well. You will walk the path of the visitor, and we shall observe how you navigate our world. But know this. Many have tried and failed. The court tests not only the mind but the courage and spirit. Are you prepared?" "I am," Elara replied without hesitation. A soft chime echoed through the chamber, signaling the beginning of the ceremonial procession. Elara followed the council members through corridors made of shimmering crystal and floating lights. She observed everything, their technology, the way they moved without touching the floor, the silent coordination among their people. It was unlike anything she had ever imagined. And yet she felt no fear. As she entered the main hall, she was presented with the first test. A puzzle of light and sound, designed to measure intelligence, perception, and intuition. Colored beams of energy formed complex patterns in the air, shifting with each movement she made. Some patterns seemed impossible to align. Other visitors had failed this test, trapped in frustration. Elara stepped forward and observed calmly. She closed her eyes for a moment, listening to the subtle hum of the energy, feeling its rhythm. Slowly, she began to move, guiding the beams with her hands, her mind focusing on logic and balance rather than force. The light patterns shifted perfectly under her control. Within moments, the puzzle resolved itself, and a harmonious tone echoed throughout the hall. A murmur ran through the council. The princess, small and human, had solved a challenge that many aliens struggled with for hours. Zyphor's eyes gleamed with interest. "Impressive," he said quietly. Elara smiled modestly. "It is only a beginning," she said. The council led her to a quieter chamber next, where they introduced her to the alien customs of negotiation and diplomacy. She listened carefully, asking intelligent questions, demonstrating a keen understanding of strategy and fairness. Every action she took revealed her thoughtfulness and adaptability. She was not merely reacting. She was anticipating, a trait highly valued among Zytherans. By the time the first day ended, whispers of respect had spread through the court. Even those who had doubted her began to see that humans might be underestimated at their own peril. Some watched her with admiration. Others, though skeptical, could not deny her presence was commanding. As night fell on Zythera, Elara stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The crystalline towers glowed softly under the twin moons. She felt a mix of pride and responsibility. Her people were watching from across the stars, hoping she would succeed. And she knew that this was only the first step in showing the galaxy that humans were not to be dismissed. "Courage, intelligence, and heart," she whispered to herself. And so, as the alien world slept under its twin moons, the princess prepared for the days to come. She would face challenges, skepticism, and tests beyond imagination, but she would do so with the spirit of humanity undaunted, creative, and determined. By the time she returned to her chamber for rest, the court had already begun to speak of her. "The human princess," they said quietly, "is unlike any we have seen. Perhaps we have misjudged her species." Elara knew the road ahead would not be easy. The council had yet to fully accept her, and the challenges were only beginning. But one thing was certain. Humanity had a place in the stars, and she would fight to ensure it. The silence that had greeted her upon entry was no longer simply shock. It was the beginning of recognition, and for a human, that was a victory unlike any other. Princess Elara woke early the next morning, long before the alien sun rose over the crystalline towers of Zythera. Her room was peaceful and bright, with walls that changed color like flowing water. She stood near the tall window and watched the city slowly come alive. Floating platforms drifted through the sky, carrying citizens to their work. Soft lights spread across the streets as Zytherans opened their shops and stations. Everything looked clean, elegant, and advanced. Yet somehow, she did not feel out of place. She felt ready. A soft chime echoed as the door slid open. It was Vorin, the alien strategist she had briefly met yesterday. His form was tall and made of shimmering blue light, shifting gently as if made of calm fire. "Princess Ilara," he said warmly, "the Council requests your presence. Today begins the first set of formal trials." Ilara nodded. "I am ready." Vorin studied her for a moment. "Many believe humans cannot pass these tests," he said honestly. "But some of us are curious. We want to see what a human can truly do." Ilara smiled softly. "Then I will do my best." He guided her through the long hallways, where floating lights danced like fireflies. Several Zytherans they passed stared at her, whispering quietly. Some looked amazed, others doubtful, and a few even suspicious. But Ilara kept her head high. She knew she represented all of Earth. When they reached the council chamber, the 7 council members were already waiting. The tall crystal seats shimmered behind them. Zyfor, the silver-scaled elder, raised a hand. "Princess Ilara of Earth," he said. "Yesterday, you showed calmness and intelligence. Today, you will be tested further. We must learn the true nature of your species." Ilara bowed. "I understand." Zyfor's eyes gleamed. "Let the first trial begin, the trial of logic." A circular arena formed in the middle of the chamber as crystal platforms rearranged themselves. Holographic symbols floated in the air, forming patterns Ilara had never seen before. Colored lines connected them like a complex puzzle. "This test measures logic, memory, and creative thinking," said the winged council member, Ryla. "Most alien envoys need many attempts. Some never complete it." Ilara stepped forward. The puzzle began to shift. Patterns moved too fast to follow with normal sight. She took a deep breath. Focusing her mind, she remembered her training on Earth pattern recognition exercises, problem-solving drills, and techniques taught by her tutors. Humans lacked advanced technology, but they trained their brains through hard work and discipline. She watched the symbols carefully, noticing a rhythm in their movement. Every few seconds, the colors repeated in a cycle. A faint hum told her when the cycle reset. "There is a pattern here. I just need to find the key." Slowly, she lifted her hand. She touched one of the symbols, and the puzzle responded. A new set of shapes appeared, forming a larger image. She recognized the structure of a star map, then noticed a missing piece. She quickly dragged one of the shapes into the correct position. The puzzle glowed. The council murmured. Many aliens leaned forward, surprised. She continued calmly. Her eyes followed the shifting paths. She moved symbols with steady hands, trusting her instincts. One by one, each section lit up. After several long minutes, the entire puzzle aligned perfectly and shone with bright golden light. The arena released a soft musical tone. Silence filled the chamber. Zyfor finally spoke. "Most envoys need many hours to complete this trial. Princess Ilara, you did it in minutes." Ryla's wings shimmered. "Your logic may rival that of some of our brightest minds." Ilara bowed politely. "Thank you. Humans are used to solving problems with limited tools. It helped me focus." For a moment, even the skeptical council members seemed impressed. But Zyfor lifted a hand. "This is only the beginning, the trial of reaction." Next, Ilara was led into a training hall where the floor glowed faintly. A group of Zytheran guards stood ready, tall and strong, their movements smooth like wind. Above them, hovering drones projected soft beams of light. "This trial measures reflexes and decision-making," explained Vorin. "You must avoid the light beams. Touching them ends the trial." Ilara nodded. "Understood." The beams activated. At first, only one beam shot toward her, slow enough to dodge. She stepped aside easily. Then 2 beams came at once. She spun and avoided them. The guards observed her carefully, noting her footwork and balance. Soon the beams became faster, crisscrossing the room with bright energy. Alara moved quickly, bending, ducking, jumping between narrow spaces. Her heart raced, but she stayed focused. "Humans are faster than they look," one guard whispered. The beams increased again. A sudden light shot from the left, catching her by surprise. She threw herself into a roll, feeling the warm light graze her arm. She stood again, breathing hard but determined. The drones rapidly changed their angles. She backstepped, twisted, and used every skill she had learned from Earth's physical training. Humans did not have wings or super strength, but they had flexibility, speed, and adaptability. After several minutes, the beams shut down. She had not touched a single one. The guards stared at her with widened eyes. Some exchanged looks of respect. Vorin drifted closer. "You move differently," he said softly. "Not as precise as us, but more fluid, more unpredictable." Alara smiled. "Humans are good at adapting. We find new ways to survive." Zyphor stepped forward. "You have passed the second trial, the trial of empathy." The third trial took place in a small, quiet chamber filled with soft light. Instead of puzzles or beams, there were 3 holographic figures, each showing a different alien being. "This is the empathy trial," explained Ryla. "Please choose the figure who needs help, then explain how you would assist them." Alara observed the holograms carefully. The first hologram showed an alien child lost in a busy city, looking afraid. The second showed a Zytheran guard injured and unable to stand. The third showed a scientist struggling with a failing device. Alara walked slowly around them, watching their expressions, their motions. She pointed to the alien child. "This one needs help the most." Ryla nodded. "Why?" "Because the child is alone," Alara said gently. "And fear can grow quickly when someone small feels lost. I would first calm the child. Let them know they are safe. Then take them to someone who could help." Ryla's wings glowed warmly. "A wise choice." Zyphor asked, "Why not the injured guard, or the scientist?" Alara turned toward them. "Both of them have some strength. The guard can call for help. The scientist has tools nearby. They have options. But a child alone has none." The chamber remained silent for a moment. Finally, Zyphor spoke. "Humans value emotional understanding strongly." Alara nodded. "We do. It keeps us united." The council members exchanged looks. Some were thoughtful, others were surprised. Empathy was not a test of strength or knowledge but of heart, and Alara had passed it easily. Growing respect and growing jealousy. After completing 3 major trials in one day, Alara had already become a subject of discussion across the entire court. Everywhere she walked, aliens whispered. The human princess solved the logic trial. She dodged every reaction beam. She chose the child first. Humans may be more capable than we thought, but not everyone was pleased. In a dark corner of the council hall, 2 Zytheran advisors stood together, whispering. "This human is becoming too respected," one said, their voice sharp. "If she continues like this, she may influence the council. She must be tested harder," the second replied. "Let us see if her courage can break." Alara was unaware of these whispers. For now, she walked the glowing halls with calm confidence. Vorin accompanied her to the dining hall, where long tables were filled with alien food that shimmered and hummed softly. "You performed very well," Vorin said. "I did not expect a human to pass all trials so quickly." Alara smiled modestly. "Thank you. But I know more challenges are coming." Vorin nodded. "Yes, and some are not easy. Some may even be dangerous." Alara paused. "Dangerous? You are being watched," he said quietly. "Some want you to succeed, others do not." She took a calm breath. "That is fine. I did not come here for comfort. I came here to show what humanity truly is." Vorin studied her carefully, then nodded with admiration. "Your courage is rare." The trial of strategy. The council called her again before the day ended. This time, the chamber transformed into a large map of the galaxy. Tiny lights showed planets, trade routes, and potential threats. Your next trial, SciFi said, is strategy. You must create a plan to protect a small colony facing attack. If you not colony, Alara studied the map. The colony was near an asteroid field. A hostile alien fleet was approaching. Many envoys failed here because they focused only on defense. Alara pointed to the asteroid field. Move the colony shelters into the caves here. The enemy ships cannot enter easily. Enemy ships cannot enter easily. Ryla raised a brow. And the fleet? Use the asteroid fragments as natural shields, Alara continued. Hide our defense drones behind them. When the enemy passes through, the drones can surprise them. SciFi leaned forward. A clever plan. Risky, but creative. Risk is sometimes necessary when resources are small, Alara said simply. Humans survive by adapting. The council exchanged looks of approval. You may proceed to the final trial of the day, SciFi said. The trial of unity. For the final trial, Alara entered a chamber filled with members of different alien species, some she had never even seen before. Their forms were beautiful, strange, and intimidating. This trial, said Ryla, tests leadership. You must lead all these beings to complete a task. They do not speak your language. They may not follow orders. The task was to move a heavy crystal block into the center of the chamber. Alara stepped forward. Instead of giving orders, she first observed each alien. One was strong. Another was flexible. A third could hover. Each had a strength. She pointed gently to the strong one, then toward the block. It understood and lifted one side. Next, she motioned to the hovering alien to stabilize the top. It did. Finally, she guided the flexible alien to push from the bottom. Slowly, the block moved. With teamwork, and without a shared language, they moved it to the center. The council members were impressed. SciFi stood. Princess Alara, you have passed all the trials of the second day. SciFi stay. The chamber echoed with soft applause, a sound like ringing crystals. A growing legend. That night, as Alara rested, word spread across Zythera. The human princess works like 10 envoys. She leads without force. She thinks differently, fearlessly. She may change everything. Some aliens admired her. Some feared her rise. And some began to plot. But Alara remained unaware. She only knew that tomorrow would bring new trials, and she would face them with the strength of her people. Princess Alara awoke to the soft glow of Zythera's twin suns. The city shimmered like silver and gold as light danced across the crystalline towers. Birds or creatures like birds soared between floating platforms, calling to one another in sounds she could not yet understand. Today felt different. The air was tense, as if the world itself knew something was coming. Vorin arrived swiftly, his blue light form flowing like calm fire. Princess Alara, he said, the council wishes to see you immediately. There has been a development. Alara nodded, adjusting her ceremonial cloak. Lead the way. As they walked, she noticed whispers following her. Some aliens observed her with curiosity, others with suspicion. A few older council members exchanged quick glances. Her presence had already made ripples across the court. They entered the Grand Council chamber. SciFi, the silver-scaled elder, stood before a large map of the galaxy, which floated above a circular crystal table. Small points of light blinked, representing planets and fleets. Princess, SciFi said gravely, an unknown alien force is approaching Zythera. They are fast, organized, and have attacked colonies along the nearby star systems. Our scouts cannot predict their moves. We must prepare. Alara stepped forward. Her heart raced, but her face remained calm. Do we know their strength? She asked. Partially, SciFi replied. But intelligence is limited. We must act quickly. Any error could be catastrophic. The chamber filled with murmurs. Many council members seemed tense. This was no ordinary trial, it was real danger. Alara took a deep breath. Then we must use both strategy and creativity. I can help, Vorin nodded. Your mind has already impressed us. Perhaps human thinking will offer a new perspective. The first plan, Alara approached the glowing map. Tiny holographic ships moved in calculated patterns, representing the enemy fleet. She studied them carefully. They are predictable, she said. But only if we force them into predictable actions. Zyphor raised a brow. Explain. Alara pointed to a series of asteroid fields near Zythera. If we lead their fleet through these fields, their ships cannot maneuver easily. Some may crash or be forced to slow down. Meanwhile, we can position defense drones hidden among the asteroids for surprise attacks. Voron's glowing eyes flickered. A simple but risky tactic. Many would never consider it. Humans see opportunity, where others see obstacles. Alara smiled slightly. Our species survives by noticing small chances and acting quickly. The enemy might be stronger in firepower, but they are limited by their structure and fear of loss. Zyphor nodded slowly. Then we shall proceed with your plan. Let it be a test of human strategy and Zytheran power combined, gathering allies. Alara knew that strategy alone would not be enough. She needed alliances within the court. During a break, she approached Ryla, the winged council member who had admired her empathy trial. Ryla, Alara said gently, I need your support. Together, we can organize the fleet and guide the defense drones efficiently. If we act together, we can protect Zythera and all the colonies. Ryla's wings shimmered. You are bold to ask, she said, but I will follow your lead. Your thinking is different from ours. Perhaps it will succeed. Next, Alara found Torin, a young scholar with a body that glowed softly like molten crystal. Torin had been skeptical before. I do not usually follow outsiders, he admitted, but your strategy, it makes sense. I will assist in coordinating the fleet communications. Jumpeen, Alara smiled. Thank you. We all have our strengths. Humans are small, but we unite the strengths of others. That is how we survive. By the end of the day, she had gathered several council members and advisors willing to cooperate with her plan. Others still watched cautiously from a distance. The first skirmish. Within hours, Zythera's sensors reported the approaching fleet. The alien ships appeared like dark needles moving across the stars. Their formation was tight, disciplined, and fast. Many aliens gasped at their speed. Alara stood at the command chamber, her mind sharp and focused. She gestured to the asteroid fields on the map. Position the drones here and here, she instructed. Use the shadows and the gaps between asteroids. Do not attack yet. Wait for the enemy to enter. The council watched closely. Every decision carried weight. The enemy fleet entered the asteroid field. As predicted, several ships struggled to maneuver. Hidden defense drones struck from unexpected angles. Bright flashes lit the void, as alien ships twisted and avoided collisions. Alara pointed to one area where two enemy ships had clustered dangerously close. Use the energy pulse now, she commanded. A surge of light and force pushed the enemy ships apart. One crashed into a small asteroid, while the others were forced to retreat temporarily. Zytheran officers watched in awe. Voron floated closer. You are fearless, he said. Most envoys would have panicked. But you remain calm, even when the outcome affects thousands. Alara's eyes remained on the map. Fear is natural, but humans learn to act, even with fear. That is our strength. The battle ended for the day with minimal losses to Zythera. The Alien Council began to understand that human creativity and courage could complement their advanced technology. A test of diplomacy. After the skirmish, Zyphor requested that Alara meet with the remaining council members who were still skeptical. They questioned her methods and motives. You are clever, one said, a being with crystal spikes along its arms. But humans are reckless. You risk lives without understanding the full consequences. Alara looked directly at them. I understand the risk, but waiting for the perfect solution can be worse than acting with courage and intelligence. Humans survive because we adapt quickly. Think creatively and trust our allies. I ask for your trust, not just your obedience. Another council member, whose body was made of shifting shadow, tilted its head. You lead without fear of failure. Yet, you are human. How can we rely on a species we consider weak? Ilara's voice was calm but strong. Weakness is not about size or power. It is about giving up. Humans may be smaller, but we do not give up. We find ways to succeed, even when others fail. That is why I am here. To show you we can help, and even lead when needed. The skeptical members exchanged glances. Some were still hesitant. But slowly, they nodded. By the end of the meeting, Ilara had gained reluctant respect, building unity. Ilara knew that victory would depend on unity, not just tactics. She spent hours teaching Zytheran officers new ways to coordinate with each other and with humans. Humans often work by combining different ideas, she explained. We use mistakes as learning, and strength in teamwork. I want you to think like that. Observe each other, communicate, and adapt together, Vorin observed quietly. Your methods are simple but effective, he said. Aliens tend to rely on strict rules. You encourage flexibility. Flexibility is survival, Ilara said. We humans have survived because we adapt. By the evening, the council began running simulations using her strategies. Results were promising. Even the previously skeptical members saw the advantage of thinking like a human. The second attack. The enemy returned the next day, larger and more organized. This time, several ships attempted to flank Zythera's defenses. Ilara's plan was precise. She positioned the drones among asteroids and instructed the fleet to move in synchronized patterns. Hidden traps slowed down the enemy. Ilara remained calm, directing the Zytheran ships like a conductor leading a symphony. A sudden wave of energy from the enemy fleet threatened to breach the defenses. Ilara quickly signaled for a calculated counterattack. Hidden drones struck from the shadows, while the fleet maneuvered to protect key points. Within hours, the enemy retreated, leaving Zythera unscathed. The council members erupted in applause. Zyfor turned to Ilara. Princess, your strategy saved us. Your species shows wisdom beyond what we expected. Ilara bowed slightly. It is not just humans. It is all of us working together. Strength comes from unity. Vorin's eyes glowed with admiration. I have seen many envoys. Few have the courage, intelligence, and empathy you display. Humans may be underestimated, but you have proven they are capable of greatness. A growing legend. Word of Ilara's success spread across Zythera. Citizens whispered her name. Soldiers spoke of the human princess who had guided their fleet and saved the planet. Council members who had doubted her now sought her advice. Even the skeptical factions could not ignore her abilities. Some still watched, waiting for mistakes. But few doubted that she had changed the perception of humans forever. Ilara knew the challenge was not over. The enemy might return stronger. New tests awaited in the council and beyond. But she felt confident. Her people had survived by thinking creatively, acting bravely, and uniting in the face of danger. As night fell over Zythera, the twin moons reflected off the crystalline towers. Ilara stood on a balcony, looking at the city she had helped protect. Humans can do more than the galaxy expects, she whispered to herself. And one day, we will show everyone that courage and heart matter as much as power and technology. In the council chambers, whispers continued. The human princess, one said. She may be the key to a new era, and far beyond the stars, somewhere in the darkness, the enemy fleet prepared again. Ilara's story was far from over. But for now, humanity had earned its first victory among the stars. Princess Ilara awoke to a calm morning on Zythera. The twin suns bathed the crystalline city in golden light. For the first time, she felt a deep sense of purpose. The trials were not just tests anymore, they had become real battles for trust, respect, and unity. She had proven that humans could think creatively, act bravely, and lead with empathy. Vorin appeared in the doorway, his blue light form shimmering gently. Princess Alara, he said, the council awaits. Today is the day they will decide your place among us. Alara nodded. She adjusted her ceremonial cloak and took a deep breath. Today would be the day humanity earned its recognition. The council convenes. The Grand Council chamber was alive with activity. Council members floated gracefully, their expressions a mixture of curiosity, respect, and caution. Zyphor, the silver-scaled elder, stood at the center. Princess Alara, he began, you have completed every trial, faced real threats, and guided us through a crisis. Yet, some still question whether humans belong in the circles of interstellar diplomacy. Alara bowed respectfully. I understand, honored council. Humans have not always been part of the galactic community. But we can contribute. We can learn, adapt, and support others. Our minds and hearts may be small in size, but we are capable of great things when united with others. Ryla, the winged member, spoke next. Princess, your courage and intelligence have inspired many. Your strategies saved Zythera. But more than that, your empathy and ability to unite others. These qualities are rare among us. You remind us that strength is not only measured in power, but in wisdom and heart. A murmur of agreement swept through the chamber. Even some of the skeptical members nodded quietly. Zyphor turned to them. Let the council vote. It is time to decide. A human among equals. The vote was unusual for Zythera. The council rarely invited non-aliens to hold influence. Alara knew the outcome depended not only on her actions, but also on the impressions she had left in the hearts of each member. One by one, each council member gave their vote. First came Ryla. For recognition, she said clearly. Torin, the glowing scholar, nodded. For recognition, Princess Alara's strategies and guidance were invaluable. The skeptical members hesitated. One of them, a shadow-like being named Shur, paused. Humans are unpredictable, but unpredictability can also be an asset. I vote for recognition. Finally, Zyphor's eyes glimmered as he announced, the vote is unanimous. Princess Alara of Earth is formally recognized as an honorary member of the Zytheran Council. Alara's heart swelled. She bowed deeply, feeling a mixture of pride, humility, and relief. Thank you, honored council. I accept this responsibility with respect and determination. The chamber erupted in applause, a soft sound like chimes and whispers echoing throughout the crystalline walls. Even the citizens of Zythera, who had been watching from the city's edges, cheered softly. Strength and unity. Recognition was only the beginning. Alara knew that lasting peace required more than acknowledgement. It required unity among species. She organized a meeting with all council members, including those who had initially doubted her. We faced a threat together, she began. And we succeeded because we combined our strengths. Each species has abilities, perspectives, and experiences that complement one another. Let us continue to work as one. Zyphor nodded thoughtfully. You speak wisely, Princess. Humans value collaboration and adaptability. Perhaps we have much to learn from your people. Alara smiled. And humans can learn much from yours. Together, we are stronger than any single species. Over the next few hours, Alara guided discussions on trade, defense, and diplomacy. She suggested new ways to share resources, combine fleets, and communicate across species. Each idea drew careful attention, and slowly, even the skeptics began to contribute openly. By the evening, Zythera's council chambers had transformed into a place of cooperation and mutual respect. A model for the galaxy, the celebration. That night, the city of Zythera celebrated. Crystalline towers glowed with vibrant colors. Floating platforms were decorated with shimmering ribbons. Citizens gathered in the streets, marveling at the human princess who had earned her place among the council. Alara walked through the crowd, smiling and bowing politely. Children reached out to touch her cloak. Scholars asked questions about Earth. Even guards and strategists, who had initially doubted her, now nodded in admiration. Vorin floated beside her. "Your people would be proud," he said softly. "You have changed how we see humans. You have proven that courage, intelligence, and empathy are universal strengths." Ilara looked around at the bright city and the gathering of beings from across the stars. "It is not just me," she said. "It is all of us working together. Humans are capable, but we are stronger when united with others. That is what I hope everyone sees." A message to the galaxy. As the celebration continued, Zyphor called Ilara to the high balcony of the council tower. From there, she could see the stars stretching endlessly in all directions. "Princess," Zyphor said, "you have proven that humans can stand as equals. Your courage, creativity, and compassion are extraordinary. What message would you give to the galaxy?" Ilara gazed at the stars. "I would say this. No species is too small or too fragile to make a difference. Strength comes not only from power, but from heart, courage, and unity. Humans have survived and thrived because we adapt, we care, and we act. Let all beings remember that when we work together, even the greatest challenges can be overcome." Zyphor nodded. "Wise words. May your message inspire others as it has inspired us." A new alliance. The next day, the council formally established a galactic alliance, with humans included. Ilara's people were now recognized as partners, capable of contributing to diplomacy, defense, and interstellar research. Vorin and other council members taught humans about Zytheran technology, while Ilara shared human strategies, creative thinking, and ways of problem-solving. Both sides learned from one another. Even the skeptical council members began to appreciate the human approach. Humans had survived in a small, resource-limited world, learning to adapt and innovate. Their perspective brought fresh solutions to problems that aliens had struggled with for centuries. Ilara's influence spread beyond the council chambers. Across Zythera, schools began teaching about human adaptability. Soldiers trained using combined strategies. Scholars studied Earth history and human inventions. The city buzzed with excitement and collaboration. Humanity had not only been recognized, they had become a force of inspiration. Challenges beyond. Ilara knew that the galaxy would not remain peaceful forever. Other species might question humans, and dangers could arise again. But she felt ready. She had shown the Council and Zythera that humans were capable of courage, intelligence, and leadership. She trained with fleet commanders, taught students about diplomacy, and spent time observing the Council's decisions. Each day was a new opportunity to prove that humanity's strengths were more than physical. They were in the mind, the heart, and the will to act. Her people would continue to grow stronger in the galaxy, guided by the principles she embodied: adaptability, courage, and unity. A final reflection. That evening, Ilara stood on the balcony of her chamber, looking at the city below. The crystal towers glowed softly under the twin moons. Citizens moved like threads of light, weaving the fabric of life across the city. She thought of Earth, of the people she represented. They were small, fragile, and often underestimated, but they had potential that reached beyond the stars. Ilara whispered to herself, "Humans may be small, but our hearts are large. Our courage can inspire, and our unity can change the galaxy." Somewhere in the darkness beyond Zythera, the stars waited. New challenges, new adventures, and new alliances awaited humanity. And Princess Ilara, the human who had entered an alien court and silenced it with her presence, would be ready to meet them all. The council chamber below was alive with chatter and laughter. Zytherans of every shape and size spoke of the human princess, who had not only proven herself, but had also taught them something new about courage, intelligence, and the heart. Ilara smiled. She knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity had taken its first true steps into the stars, and the galaxy would never forget the day a human princess walked into an alien court and everyone went silent.